After so much mindless entertainment and just general dumbness in the world, I decided to sit back and watch something smart, intelligent, forward-thinking. I watched Beavis and Butt-Head do the universe. I definitely grew up on Beavis and Butt-Head in the 90s. It was one of those shows I used to watch on my own TV in my room. That was a big deal back then when you had a TV in your room. I also remember going to theaters to see Beavis and Butt-Head Do America. I think it was one of the first times I went to a late night screening, like a 10 p.m., 11 p.m. screening, I think it was. It was a lot of fun. That crowd was really hyped. One, because they wanted to see the movie, and two, because I believe some of them had some influence prior. Long story short, Beavis and Butt-Head is a show I grew up with and watched time and time again, even in recent times on DVD or Paramount Plus. And now we have some new material to watch, Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe, to take us back to that 90s nostalgia with these two idiots. I enjoy Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe very much. It doesn't hit the same level as Beavis and Butt-Head Do America, definitely a little bit smaller scale, but it's on par with some of the better episodes of Beavis and Butt-Head the series. And the best thing I can say about Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe is that the humor has not skipped a beat. Beavis and Butt-Head are doing the same jokes and the same nonsense now as they did back then. Yeah, while some reboots want to do a fresh take or a satirical look at a classic franchise, Beavis and Butt-Head act the exact same way, just stuff around them has changed. They're not watered down at all. They're still hungry for nachos, they're still horny as hell, and they're still going, fire, fire. Settle down, baby. Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe starts us off in 1998. After destroying the Highland Science Fair, Beavis and Butt-Head end up going to space camp and then literally into outer space through a series of mishaps, misunderstandings, and of course, them thinking they're going to score. The first part of this movie feels like a classic Beavis and Butt-Head episode, from the messing up the science fair to the sexual jokes and innuendo when they're at the space program, all the way up to some cameos in the background of teachers, principal, even Daria shows up in the background. I wish they did more with some of the classic characters other than just being cameos, but it was still nice to see them there. We do get a little bit of Van Driesen though, okay? But I would like to see some more of Coach Bud's cut, or the Principal McVicker, or Stewart. But yeah, this whole space section of Beavis and Butt-Head, I feel like that could have been an episode of the old series. Easily would have fit in. But eventually Beavis and Butt-Head end up going through a black hole. He said hole. And when they come out of the black hole, they end up in our present day 2022. Now we get to see Beavis and Butt-Head make fun of things like smartphones, Apple Pay. There's even a whole bit where Beavis is talking to Siri because he thinks it's Serena, the astronaut that they want to score with. And we get to see an intimate side of Beavis as he confesses his feelings to Siri. It's old school Beavis and Butt-Head, but in a new school world. And this is the part of the movie I enjoyed the most. We've always seen their shenanigans from the 90s. It's kind of nice to see what they would do with some of our current trends in pop culture. Also can't help but to feel like this might be setting up the rumored Beavis and Butt-Head revival series that will have them not only watching music videos, but also YouTube and TikTok videos as well. So this could technically be an in-canon reason for Beavis and Butt-Head still being teenagers in present day. A lot of effort for that. One of my favorite bits in this movie is that they walk onto a college campus and end up in a gender studies class. And immediately when I saw that sign, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. In that class, Beavis and Butt-Head are told what white privilege is, and they take it literally and just start doing whatever they want. It's a very funny bit where they're just taking things from people, knocking stuff over, and they're just like, it's okay, sir. We have white privilege. But what cracked me up even more in this scene, there's a part where a black woman is trying to explain to them what white privilege is, and then she gets cut off by a white guy who literally like stands in front of her and explains white privilege for her. That joke got me. I literally had to rewind it and watch that part again because it cracked me up. I have been there. You try to explain your oppression and some white dude's like, oh no, I got this for you. I got this. Excuse me? I always love when Beavis and Butt-Head do that, when they can make fun of different angles of a certain subject. There's even some multiverse of madness going on with this movie because we meet a smart Beavis and a smart Butt-Head from another universe, which is pretty funny. If this is setting up a Beavis and Butt-Head do the multiverse movie in the future, I'm all for it. Show me all the different Beavis and Butt-Heads out there. Oh, what if they have a Sylvie to their Loki? Oh my God. They also do some funny versions of classic movie tropes like the shopping montage, the dream sequence, and of course the late in the movie breakup, complete with a perfect song choice. And of course, it would not be a Beavis and Butt-Head movie without a classic, I am Cornholio. I need teepee for my bunghole. Bunghole. Yeah, this movie is clearly made for Beavis and Butt-Head fans. They don't really explain a whole lot in this movie. Like, there's a whole sequence with Todd, and it's like, if you watch the series, you know who Todd is. But if you don't, you're like, who's this dude? But then again, if you never watched Beavis and Butt-Head, I don't know why this would be the first time you would watch it. Even though it's got some new references in it, it didn't try to do anything too new, and that's actually okay. I do like it at times when franchises come back with a fresh take, but sometimes it's just nice just do the thing you know that works, but just do it with new material, and that's what Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe did for me, and I really enjoyed it. So there's a lot of funny stuff in this movie. The plot, it's pretty basic. There's a part of the plot that involves Serena, the astronaut that they go up into space with, who they hope to score with. She becomes governor years later, and when Beavis and Butt-Head return in present day, she's trying to take them out because she's trying to cover up her past mistakes. Also, the government gets involved because they think Beavis and Butt-Head are aliens. I'm guessing because of their big heads. A lot of this stuff is funny too, but if you've seen Beavis and Butt-Head Do America, this might feel similar to the police chasing after them in that movie, but this time with no deep cavity searches. And as the movie goes into its third act, it spends more time on this plot and less time on Beavis and Butt-Head messing around with 2022. While obviously you gotta have a plot in one of these things to keep the movie going, I would have still liked to have seen more of Beavis and Butt-Head messing around with current trends in pop culture. There's just so much for them to make fun of. It's kind of the same way I felt about the new Animaniacs series. Like, they both do enough, but I feel like they could have done even more. There's just so much more to make fun of. But since Beavis and Butt-Head are supposedly getting a new series, I'm sure they're saving some of that for the show. The animation is nice. I really like the cool CGI sequence they did as the intro, and the rest of the animation looks really good. It's a nice blend of looking like the classic show while obviously using technology to make it a little bit cleaner, a little bit crisper. And even though I enjoyed this movie a lot, I can definitely see why it was dropped on Paramount Plus. It just doesn't have the same scale as Beavis and Butt-Head Do America. Like, that felt like a theatrical movie. This one feels like a nice direct-to-streaming, direct-to-DVD, direct-to-TV movie. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, some of my favorite movies this year are direct-to-streaming movies. But I'm just saying, like, don't expect something in epic scale of style or music soundtrack or anything like that that Beavis and Butt-Head Do America did. There's no love roller coaster on this one. Roller coaster, I love, say what? But even though it's a little bit smaller scale, I still laughed so many times watching this movie, and overall, it just felt like a nice warm blanket from the 90s with a couple of current pop culture references thrown in. If Beavis and Butt-Head's humor worked for you back in the day like it did for me, then I think this movie is going to be more of the same. You're gonna fit right into it. If you've never been into Beavis and Butt-Head's humor, this movie is not gonna sway you. It is more the same, so if you didn't like it then, you're probably not gonna like it now. But I liked it then, and I like it now, so I'm good with it. Yeah, it could have done more, but what it did worked for me. I laughed a lot, I enjoyed it a lot, and it was just a nice piece of dumbness I needed. It's smart dumb, though. Good smart dumb humor, compared to the dumb dumb that we see in humor and life. I guess what I'm basically saying is, Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe doesn't suck. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so what's MTV gonna bring back next? Daria, Liquid Television, Aeon Flux, The Head. Does anyone remember that? The Mats. Are you gonna watch Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe? If you have seen it, what did you think of it? And what should I watch next?